Pava Lapere, a young and ambitious tech CEO on the fast track to global success, was a name known to many. After an evening spent with friends at an art festival, she returned to her Baltimore apartment one fateful Friday night, only to vanish without a trace. The grim discovery of her lifeless body on her apartment building's rooftop left everyone in shock and utter disbelief. The question that remains is who could have committed such a heinous act and for what reason? Was this a calculated murder or a random act of violence? Let's delve into the details of this tragic case. Pava Marie Lapere was born on January 21, 1997, to parents Caroline and Frank Lapere, and she had a brother named Nico. She grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and graduated from Catalina Foothills High School in 2015. After that, she enrolled at Johns Hopkins University, where she initially studied computer science for 3 years before switching to sociology. As a college student, Pava was deeply engaged in efforts to expand opportunities for young entrepreneurs. She started Innovate MD, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting student entrepreneurs in Maryland. In 2018, when Pava was 21 years old, she launched her own company, EcoMap Technologies, from her dorm room at Johns Hopkins University with her co-founder, Sherrod Davis. The company sells artificial intelligence tools aimed at making clients' information more accessible and customer communications more seamless. She graduated from Johns Hopkins University in 2019, and in the same year she gave a TEDx talk on the university's campus, describing her journey into the startup world and her vision for the future. She said she scrapped plans to become a doctor after news coverage of a car bombing in Syria opened her eyes to human suffering on a global scale. She wanted to effect systemic change, especially among underserved communities. Over the next few years, Pava transformed EcoMap into a thriving company, leading a team of over 30 dedicated staff members. Their clientele includes industry giants such as Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, as well as prestigious organizations like the Aspen Institute, among others. Pava's visionary leadership and commitment to excellence propelled EcoMap to remarkable heights. In 2023, Pava was included on Forbes' 30 Under 30 list in the social impact category. On Friday, September 22, 2023, Pava went to an art festival in the city at Artscape, where she met up with friends. She returned to her Baltimore apartment later that Friday night. However, on the following day, Pava became unreachable, and her friends and family were unable to contact her throughout the entire weekend. According to Pava's close friend, Karina Mandel, it's highly unusual for Pava to be unreachable for an entire weekend. Because of the lack of communication from Pava, friends and family became extremely concerned. On the following Monday morning, September 25th, a concerned co-worker of Pava's decided to visit her apartment building to check if she's okay. The co-worker went onto the roof area of the apartment building and found Pava, but sadly, she was deceased. The co-worker immediately contacted the police. Detective Saunders arrived at the scene at approximately 11:30 a.m., where he met with Officer Sanford. Officer Sanford responded to an earlier report of Pava being missing. Upon examining Pava's body, investigators noted signs of trauma on her head, face, and body. In addition, they discovered a brick, 3 teeth, and a broken hair clip at the scene. The medical examiner later found that Pava died by strangulation and blunt force trauma. Baltimore police said they believe that Pava was killed on the preceding Friday. On that same Monday, September 25th, detectives obtained and reviewed surveillance video footage from Pava's apartment building. After viewing the surveillance footage, it was revealed that Pava had returned home on the evening of Friday, September 22nd, at approximately 10:30 p.m. Not long after she arrived, a tall, bald-headed African-American man wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt and black glasses approached the front steps of the building. He looked through the glass and gestured to Pava, seemingly requesting her to grant him access to the building. Pava opened the lobby's door, engaged in a brief conversation with the man, and then allowed him entry into the building, She then headed towards the elevator. The man followed her and also got into the elevator with her. Approximately 40 minutes later, the surveillance video showed the man leaving the stairwell of the building and entering the lobby. His demeanor appeared frantic, as he seemed to be urgently searching for an exit. According to the police, there is no evidence to suggest that Pava knew the man. It's presumed that the man told her he lived at the building and forgot his keys so that she would let him into the building. The next day, Tuesday, September 26th, with the help of departmental databases and resources, detectives identified the tall man as possibly being Jason Billingsley, who was a convicted felon. Detectives also located a witness who was able to identify Billingsley from the surveillance video. A press conference was held by law enforcement to inform the public about the murder and the warrant of arrest issued for Jason Billingsley.
We're here to announce that we have a warrant issued for the killing of Ms. Lapere. Today, in consultation with the state's attorney's office, 32-year-old Jason Dean Billingsley of Baltimore was wanted for first-degree murder, assault, reckless endangerment, as well as additional charges. Our Special Investigations Section and Homicide Unit have been working aggressively to identify the suspect responsible for this tragic incident. Our Warrant Apprehension Task Force, alongside the U.S. Marshals Capital Area Fugitive Task Force, is actively working to apprehend Billingsley. At this time, we believe and we know he probably is armed and dangerous. We ask anyone who may have seen him or knows his whereabouts to contact police immediately by calling 911. We implore residents to be aware of your surroundings at all times. This individual will kill, and he will do anything he can to cause harm. So please be aware of your surroundings. Our thoughts and prayers are with the loved ones of Ms. Lapere.
Jason Billingsley is a violent criminal who was granted parole and released early from prison in October 2022. Maryland court records reveal a long history of criminal activity, starting when he was only 18 years old. In 2009, Billingsley pleaded guilty to first-degree assault and was placed on 2 years of supervised probation. However, he violated the terms of his probation and was later convicted in a second-degree assault case in 2011, serving a 2-year prison sentence as a result. Following his release from prison, Billingsley's criminal activity continued, and he faced yet another conviction mere months later in 2013, this time for an attempted sexual assault. The victim of the sexual assault was a 25-year-old woman. Court documents reveal that the victim told police she met Billingsley after she had an argument with her boyfriend. She said Billingsley escorted her to a property, then began to assault her when she refused to sleep with him. The police report stated that he first struck her on the face and then began strangling her. The victim further reported that Billingsley forcibly removed her clothing, and in fear of potential sexual assault, she informed him that she had hepatitis C. In response, he demanded that she get down on her knees. Billingsley then instructed her to perform a sexual act on him, and out of fear, she obeyed his instructions. He then took all the money that was in her wallet, which was $53. Billingsley was jailed after that and received a 30-year sentence with an expected 2043 release date. However, 16 years of the sentence were suspended, so he was only expected to serve 14 years and would have been eligible for parole in 2027. But he ended up serving 9 years of his 14-year sentence and was released on parole in October 2022 due to good behavior. Upon release, he was placed under 5 years of supervised probation. Now that we know a bit more about Jason Billingsley's violent criminal history, the obvious question has to be asked. Why was a violent, dangerous criminal like Billingsley released after only spending 9 years in prison? During the press conference on September 26th, Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott was asked about Billingsley's early release.
Thank you, Phil from WBAL Radio. Mayor, you said that he should have never been out in the first place. And State's Attorney Ivan Bates talked about the repeat violent offender situation here. How frustrated are you that yet we have another murder in Baltimore where this is a case of a repeat violent offender who's committed an act?
Extremely frustrated. I mean, you and I talk about this, unfortunately, all too often, right? When myself, the police commissioner, the state's attorney, we have to stand up here and talk about someone's life cut down short by someone who should still be in prison, right? And this is why you consistently hear from us, those who are on the front lines of this work, those who have to talk with those grieving families to get other parts of the system to understand the human side of it, that these cases impact people's lives for the eternity. Pava's family is going to be dealing with the tragedy and the trauma of that loss for the rest of their lives. And that's where the frustration comes in. Because when the police go out and do their job, as they did in this case, right, with this individual, I won't even give him the pleasure of calling him a man, with this individual, and then the state's attorney goes out, does their work, gets the conviction should be the conviction. And we have to make sure that folks are held accountable in every single way, because we are tired of talking about the same people committing the same kind of crimes over and over again.
So did he slip through the cracks?
Well, I can't tell you whether he slipped through the cracks or not. I think that you are a fine journalist, sir. What I would task you with doing is going through and looking at that case, as I know you will do, and look at who made a decision to allow this person to go out on parole based on the facts of those cases from the past. Because when you see them, you and every single person that lives in Baltimore and listens to WBAL radio will say there is no way in hell that he should have been on the street.
Police later revealed that on September 19, 2023, which was a few days before Pava was murdered, they were investigating a knife-point sexual assault and arson attack on Edmondson Avenue that left a man and a woman, both 26, in critical condition, and a 5-year-old child suffering from smoke inhalation. Edmondson Avenue just happens to be 20 minutes away from Pava's residence. Based on evidence police had acquired, they believed Billingsley was involved in the Edmondson Avenue attack as well, and they were actively searching for him from the 20th of September, which was days before Pava was murdered. Police claimed that they were tracking Billingsley by cell phone location, and they did get close to him a few times, but he always evaded them. After Pava was murdered and the police announced Billingsley as their suspect during the press conference, he got rid of the cell phone they were tracking him on, which then made it harder for them to locate him. Billingsley's mother was contacted and was asked about her son and the crimes he was suspected of committing.
I told him he needs to turn himself in, but I really don't think she's going to do that because he's scared. I screamed. I cried. I can't understand what happened that he would do something like that. I don't know where he is. He don't even call me because I've been trying to call him and talk to him. He texted me one time, said that he's okay. I am so sorry that this happened to her. And if my son did it, I really apologize because I don't know what happened to make him do that.
Following a manhunt that lasted less than 2 days, Billingsley was arrested on Wednesday, September 27, 2023. He was charged with first-degree murder, first- and second-degree assault, as well as other offenses. If found guilty, he'll likely spend the rest of his life in prison.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. We're here to announce the arrest of Jason Dean Billingsley for the September 25th murder of Pava Lapere and the September 19th arson and incident on Edmondson Avenue. Billingsley was taken into custody in Bowie at approximately 11 o'clock last night. Through the tireless efforts of the men and women of the Baltimore Police Department and our local, state, and federal partners, we are able to capture this violent criminal without incident or further loss of life. I know this arrest does not bring back Pava Lapere or take away the heels of the many victims of Mr. Billingsley. But my hope is at least we can give a sense of closure to the city of Baltimore, the victims of all of his crimes and all their families.
Mayor Brandon Scott, you said Billingsley was being tracked, yet he was still able to commit another violent, heinous act. How is that so? And at what point do you weigh the community safety? This was a violent who was roaming the streets of Baltimore, and the public had no idea. Could this knowledge have prevented Pava's death?
I'm not going to speculate whether it could have prevented her death, but what I know we did is as soon as we realized that there was a public safety, we had the press conference. The first incident on Edmondson Avenue was not a random act. Had it been a random act, we would have put out a flyer right away saying that this individual was on the loose committing random acts. We know pretty much why he went into that house on Edmondson Avenue and why he committed those acts. He worked at that building. He was familiar with the victims. I'm not going to say too much more because I don't want to talk bad about victims. But he was there for a reason. And it was, at that point, our detectives and everyone in the department decided that we didn't think at that point that he was committing random acts because we knew he had been out since October 2022, and we had no incidents that he has been connected to. We're going to go back and look and see if we have anything that he could be connected to. But at that time, we did not believe that he was committing random acts. We think he committed a targeted act on the victims that he victimized that day.
And my follow-up question, I mean, there are a lot of eyes on this press conference. People are angry. Your message to them, if they're questioning why they should trust the Baltimore Police Department with their safety?
The main reason is if we made a mistake, I'd tell you we made a mistake like I did in Brooklyn. I don't think we made a mistake in this case. I think our detectives made the same decision we make every single time based on the facts and circumstances that we have. And as soon as we realized he had committed an act that seemed to be random, that we still don't know connections there yet, we put the flyer out, and just as we thought, as soon as he saw the flyer, he tried to elude capture and turned off all devices we were able to track him on.
Thank you.
And just to add, Alexa, to that, I think we have to understand that residents should trust the Baltimore Police Department in doing their work because they do that work each and every day. It was the Baltimore Police Department that did the work that led to the initial case that he was in prison for. And what the residents of Baltimore should be doing is questioning why he was let out and how that happened. And that's not on the police department. And they're the ones who are out here arresting folks for murder, taking record numbers of guns off the street, having a double-digit deficit in homicides, reducing that each and every day alongside our law enforcement partners. They are doing that work. But we know that we're talking about a system that we also have to deal with because they didn't decide to let this sociopath back out on the streets of Baltimore.
Thank you.
On September 28, 2023, Pava was honored with a vigil by family, friends, and community members at the Washington Monument in Mount Vernon. The occasion was deeply emotional, with Pava's father, Frank Lapere, finding it difficult to hold back tears as he spoke about his daughter.
Pava used to take piano lessons, and she sent me a video playing her piano, and I will save that forever. She's always been a leader, always been driven and creative, always intended to be a high achiever. I strongly believe in what I call the energy of the universe. And I believe the energy in me and in all of you and in Pava goes to a source of energy that will join us again when we meet with her in the future.
In the world of technology and innovation, Pava was a shining star who was destined for greatness. Her journey was one of passion, determination, and perseverance. Despite her life being cut short at a fairly young age, she achieved more by the time she was 26 than most people achieve in a lifetime. Her intelligence and drive were boundless, propelling her to become a leader and an innovator. Pava's unique ability to mentor and inspire others, even at her young age, was a testament to her exceptional character. Pava's love for animals was a reflection of her kind and compassionate nature, extending beyond the tech world. In the memory of Pava Lapere, we find not only a brilliant entrepreneur, but also an extraordinary human being who impacted countless lives. Pava may be gone, but her passion, remarkable accomplishments, inspirational leadership, and her unwavering commitment to making a positive impact in the world through technology remain an everlasting source of inspiration for us all. Her legacy will continue to light the way for future generations in the world of tech and beyond. To Pava's family and friends, we offer our deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathies in this time of profound loss. May God comfort and strengthen you all, and may Pava rest in eternal peace.